I'm at the Roman amphitheatre from Cirencester, and I see that there's frost on the ground this morning. It is the most glorious day, so it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous one. There's the Church of St John the Baptist over there, which I'll have a look through later on. That's literally a 50-metre walk from where I'm staying. And here's the amphitheatre, but I'm looking into the sun, so I'll get a better look from the other side. It's 7:40 a.m. I had an early start, and I'm going to do a bit of walking around the town, and then I'm going to go and have a look at an actual Roman fort. Well, I don't know if it's a fort actually, it might be a house. I'll let you know. The remains of a Roman amphitheatre, which apparently could hold up to 8,000 people in its heyday. Apparently the Romans left in the 5th century AD, and in the 1200s the local bishop used it as a rabbit warren. The rabbits must have been in heaven. It's the biggest rabbit warren space I've ever seen. Anyway, interesting. Can really hear the traffic down there. It's going to be peak hour, of course, but I didn't sort of expect that. I thought it would be more like a small town. Apparently at one time this place, and during the Roman era, Cirencester was second only to London in size and importance. I'm heading up Cecily Hill to have a look at the park gates, which are supposed to be quite impressive. All these old buildings made of local stone. Beautiful. This is part of the Abbey grounds of St John the Baptist of Cirencester. They have a children's playground and a few sculptures here and there. I'm actually just waiting for things to open. Nothing seems to open till 10 o'clock. But I think the museum opens at 9, so I'm just going to jig my plans around and do the museum first and then take off and do some other stuff. It's really lovely grounds. A pigeon having his morning wash or drink. There's a gentleman over there walking his dog, so that gives you a bit of an idea of scale. It's an example of a Roman home, how its layout would have been with its mosaic floors. They're really quite something. And if I just turn around and look behind me, here's another one that they've excavated. This is for my Auntie Ellie, who also keeps a doll's house. I thought you'd like to see this one. In the Corinium Museum at Cirencester. They've got a puppy. How cute. And here's some ration books. This is an evening dress that someone's industriously made during the Second World War out of a curtain. Driving in the Cotswolds. There's a cock pheasant on the road. He's just taking his time. Oh, there he goes. He's figured it out. These pheasants, I can probably count, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them if I look around me. It's an apple tree with apples on it. Apparently it's been a bumper crop for apples all over England this year. It's an absolutely beautiful spot. The Chedworth Roman Villa. So this is the bath room. They used to take baths together, men and women separately, but people bathed together socially. So those piles there are called pile, and the hot air, they'd light a fire and underneath the floor, and it would circulate amongst those pele and heat the interior of the building. And over there you can see like the flue thing where the smoke would go up the walls of the building too. Quite ingenious. And look at the mosaics. This was totally forgotten about and buried in the time of Henry VIII, and 300 years later it was discovered again and they've excavated it. This is the exterior of the building, and that is the stoke hole where some lucky servant would have got to keep the fires going. There's another one at the other end of the building too. It's quite astounding. This is the Nymphaeum, which is like a water shrine. The Romans were a bit like all the old world religions, where they were pagan and that they worshipped the elemental spirits. So, you know, rocks, water, trees, and they would make offerings here to the spirits of the spring. They got their water through stone channels with lead-lined pipes, which can't have done much for their intelligence or their longevity, but that's how it was then. They didn't know. And this same spring, further downhill down there, on the other side of that building, it showed you the latrines, and the water would flow downhill past the latrines and into the baths, and that's how they got their water. It's apparently a water supply that's still used by this site today, which is run by the National Trust. The National Trust, they just do so much for the country's heritage maintenance. These rooms were saunas. You can still see down there the tiles. Once you'd sweated it out for a while, you hopped in this cold immersion bath for a quick freezing plunge. Seating. This was apparently a multi-purpose heating room. Who knows, maybe living in England rather than Italy, they needed to get their clothing dry. And this is what it was used for. Isn't that fascinating? Or maybe they had to get their towels dry somehow from plunging themselves into water constantly. So this is not where it was. This is the bog, and they used to have a sponge on a stick and a river or a little stream of water was channeled from that spring I was telling you about. Down in front of the latrines, and that's what you use to clean yourself up with. Well, let's just hope that you've got a fresh sponge for each person. You probably didn't in those days. I mean, they didn't have a clue, did they, about infection or passage of disease. It's just so vulgar. Anyway, over there in the far corner was the original latrine, way up there, which also was just off the kitchen, also extremely unhygienic, but they didn't know. There's another stoke hole over there, and so yeah, that's a glimpse into the realities of daily life for the Romans. The British Romans. Obviously they brought their ideas from Italy. There's just so many pheasants around here. There's another one down there now that I can see. That field, I mean, I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just pheasants everywhere. This is a museum built in the 1860s to house the finds that they dug up, like jewellery and pots and statues and things like that.